Chapter 3. I lost my job, said Dad. No, said Zoe. They're shutting down the factory and moving the whole operation to China. Well, you will find another job, won't you? I will try, said Dad, but it won't be easy. There'll be lots of us all looking for the same ones. And as it turned out, it wasn't easy. It was, in fact, impossible. With so many people losing their jobs all at once, Dad was forced to claim benefit money from the government. It was pittance, barely enough to live on. With nothing to do all day, Dad became more and more down. To begin with, he went to the job centre every day. But there were never any jobs within 100 miles, and eventually he started going to the pub instead. Zoe could tell because she was fairly sure the job centre didn't stay open till late at night. Zoe became more and more worried about her father. Sometimes she worried if he had given up on life altogether. Losing his wife first and then his job seemed like just too much for him to bear. Little did he know things were about to get much, much worse. Dad met Zoe's stepmother when he was at his saddest. He was lonely and she was on her own, her last husband having died of a mysterious prawn cocktail crisp-related incident. Sheila seemed to think that husband number 10's benefit would provide her with an easy life, with fags on tap and the prawn cocktail crisps she could eat. As Zoe's real mum had died when Zoe was a baby, as much as she tried and tried and tried, Zoe could not remember her. There used to be photographs of Mum all over the flat. Mum had a kind smile. Zoe would stare at the photographs and try to smile just like her. They certainly looked alike, especially when they were smiling. However, one day, when everyone was out, Zoe's new stepmother took all the photographs down. Now they were conveniently lost, probably burned. Dad didn't like talking about Mum because it would make him cry. However, she lived on in Zoe's heart. The little girl knew that her real mum had loved her very much. She just knew it. Zoe also knew her stepmother didn't love her or even like her very much. In truth, Zoe was pretty sure that her stepmother hated her. Sheila treated her at her worst, at best as if she was invisible. Zoe often overheard her stepmother saying she wanted her out of the house as soon as she was old enough. The little brat, stop sponging off me. The woman never gave her a penny, not even at birthdays. That Christmas, Sheila had given Zoe a used tissue as a present and then laughed in her face when the little girl unwrapped it. It was full of snot. Soon after Zoe's stepmother moved into the flat, she demanded that the hamster moved out. It stinks, she shrieked. However, after a great deal of shouting and slamming of the doors, Zoe was finally allowed to keep her little pet. Sheila carried on despising Ginger Nut. She moaned and moaned that the little hamster chewed holes in the sofa, even though it was burning hot ash and that was falling from her fags. Over and over again, she warned her stepdaughter she would stamp on the nasty little beast if I ever catched it out of its cage. Sheila also mocked Zoe's attempts to teach her hamster to break dance. You're wasting your time. That's nonsense. You and that little beast were almost to nothing. You're nothing. Chloe heard, but chose not to listen. She knew that she had a special way with animals, and Dad had always told her that. In fact, Zoe dreamt of travelling the world with the huge animals and that were stars. One day, she would train animals to be extraordinary, and that she believed would delight the world. She even made a list of these mad caps. Acts that could be a frog who is a superstar DJ, a rapping terrapin, 2 gerbils who ballroom dance together, an elephant who sings opera, a donkey does magic tricks, a tap dancing centipede, a boy band conspired of entirely guinea pigs, a street dance group of tortoises, a cat who does impressions, a ballet dancing pig, a worm hypnotist, a high wire acrobat act with cows, an ant who does ventriloquism, a daredevil mole who does incredible stunts like being shot out of a cannon, a karate display with jellyfish, a bungee jumping hippopotamus. Zoe had planned it all out. With the money the animals earned, she and her father could both escape the leaning, crumbling tower block forever. Zoe could buy Dad a much bigger flat, and she could retire to a huge country house and set up a sanctuary of unwanted pets. The animals could run around in the grounds all day and sleep together in a giant bed at night. No animal too big or too small. They will all be loved. Was it all written out in the entrance gates? Then, on that fateful day, Zoe came home from school to find that Ginger Nut was dead. And with him, Zoe's dreams of animal training stardom died too. So, reader, after the little journey back to time, we're back to the start, ready to get on with the story. Don't turn back to the beginning though. That could be really stupid, and you would go round and round in circles, reading the same few pages. No, move on to the next lecture, and I will continue with the story. Quickly, stop reading this and move on now. And tomorrow I will read chapter 14, Dirty Business.